and ecosystems around the world will suffer even more. So, but the picture is not completely bleak, and there's still time where we can do something and contribute to this, effort. So, in today's session, we will see the status of the water scarcity worldwide and also explore some options for individuals and organizations to contribute to the reduction of water usage and also address the risk of water scarcity in their value chain. So, now I would like to introduce our key speakers for today's session. Uh, so, our keynote speaker today would be Priya Ranjan, ma'am, who is a partner of sustainability at Pozhat, and she has a work experience of more than 2 decades, and she has done some very good projects in sustainability as well as reporting. And also present with us is our guest speaker, Mr. Abilash Haridass, who is the Chief of Growth and Strategy at WEGoT. We thank you for coming here today, sir, and we look forward to today's session with both of you. So I would hand over to Priya ma'am now, and she would talk about some of her views, followed by Abhilash sir's views, and then we will conclude with a vote of thanks. And all the participants in the meeting, please feel free to interfere wherever you want. We're always free for any questions, and we would only be glad to answer them. So over to you, Priya ma'am.
Wonderful context setting and very good introductions. So, is everyone able to see my slide and am I audible to everyone? Yes. Can somebody respond, please?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, here's some interesting data about, fresh water on Earth. So, what you see on the, this graph is, the total water on the planet. It's 97.5% of it is salt water, and it is too salty for use by humans. And less than 3% is actually fresh water, which can be used by humans. Now, out of this, less than 3%, there is less than 1%. If you go down this diagram, less than 1% is actually available for use. The rest of it is either locked up in ice caps and glaciers or in groundwater. So you can see that usable fresh water is extremely rare to get. And, it is only replenished by the water cycle, the precipitation which happens. And here is another very interesting illustration that I wanted to show you. This is the planet. And if you see this blue marble-like thing, the ball, the first one is, symbolizing the total water on the Earth. So you can imagine, relative to the size of the planet, this is the total amount of water we have. And the diameter of this droplet is actually only 860 miles. Further, the second droplet, which is very bleakly visible here, is demonstrating the total fresh water, which is both surface and groundwater, and the diameter of this ball is 169.5 miles. And the third ball, which is not even visible, is actually only 34.9 miles. And this is showing the surface freshwater which is available for use. So this is just a visual depiction to drive home the fact that, compared to the size of the planet and the burgeoning population, this is the amount of water that we have. Excuse me, the slide. Yeah. Now, this extremely, rare resource, I just made this pictorial slide. And when I was making it, I thought, am I making it too kiddish? But then, all these sceneries we see every day within our homes and even in our neighborhoods. Every day we see. So I thought, why not revisit something that we have learned in our perhaps kindergarten or primary school, that we should close our taps when we are either brushing our teeth or applying soap. And here you can see women talking to each other, or somebody too busy on the mobile phone and not realizing how water is running out, and people using good treated water to wash their cars and stuff like that. So, this is a scene that we see day in and day out, and it's high time we reflected on our behavior. And on this side is a cartoon where it shows that there's some good water available, and human beings are dumping all kinds of litter in it. And eventually what happens, that you don't have any water to drink and you need to pay money for that. So all sounds very close to home, and we do it every day, but we still haven't changed our behaviors. So, what are the consequences of our behavior? So, here's some data which is from the United Nations. Is that water stress. You can see the orange, the dark orange or the brown area, which is showing the water stressed regions, and this is a comparison between 1995 and 2025. So you can see the increase in the water stressed areas between 1995 and 2025. So just tell me one thing. Who can tell me what is a water stress? I just want some answers from the audiences. Porat consultants are not allowed to answer. Does anyone want to give an answer? What is water stress?
Hello, ma'am. My name is Rahul,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I'd just like to state that a water stress situation is a situation where there is a shortage of water in that particular locality due to various constraints or what do you call it? Maybe unnecessary utilization of water for other purposes. There is a shortage of water resource, or especially when it comes to usable or drinking water, is what I have understood what a stress situation is.
Okay. Does anyone else want to try? Okay. So water
Hello.
stress. Yeah, yeah. Somebody wants to give an answer.
I just wanted to make an attempt. Is it about the worries or stress
Can you give
related
your
to?
name? Your name
My
would
name is
be
Jyoti.
Jyoti. Yes, Jyoti.
So I think it is about the scarcity of water and the stress related to that. Is it?
Uh, it is about scarcity of water, but water stress is actually a technical indicator, and it is defined as when the water availability per person per year in a region falls below 1700 meter cube. That region is supposed to be water stressed. Yeah. So this is the definition of water stress, and because of the climate change, it is predicted that presently there are about 1.9 billion people, or about 27% of the global population, who are living in such water stressed areas, and by 2050 this number is likely to increase to 3.2 billion people if our behavior and business as usual continues. uh, Flooding. So by 2050, the number of people at risk of floods will increase from the current level of 1.2 billion to 1.6 billions. And in this slide, the picture that you're seeing is the picture of the Satluj Basin. It has been taken through aerial cameras. Actually, the government of India had done a study of the Indian river basins between 2015 and 2018, and it was observed that the water basins are changing their characteristics. They are either becoming too dry, or they are becoming inundated. So this is a picture of the Satluj basin, where it was found that between the years 2015 and 2018, 127 new lakes have been formed in this basin. So this is the way the ecosystem is changing because of our behavior. And globally, over a fifth of the world's river basins have experienced such either increases in their surface water area, which which could lead to flooding, or rapid decline in their surface water area, which could lead to drying up of the lakes and reservoirs. Um, Disasters. Now you can see the pictures. The pictures are from the Chennai floods. I deliberately chose some Indian, incidents which are difficult to forget. The Kedarnath floods we'll never be able to forget. And this is Venice, which was recently flooded. And according to the UN data, around 74% of all natural disasters between 2001 and 2018 were water related. And during the past 20 years, the total number of deaths caused by floods and droughts exceeded 1.66 lakhs. Floods and droughts affect over 3 billion people and caused total economic damage of US dollar 700 billion. Droughts accounted for 5% of the natural disasters, affecting 1.1 billion people, killing 22,000 people, and causing a damage of 100 billion US dollars between 1995 and 2015. And it is predicted by the UN that by 2030, it is likely that 700 million people worldwide would need to be displaced because of the increasing water scarcity. Water pollution is another very important thing affecting us, and it has worsened since the 1990s in almost all the rivers in Latin America, Africa, and Asia, with severe pathogen pollution affecting 1/3 of all river stretches in these continents. And less than 20% of the world's drainage basins actually now have pure water quality. Arsenic pollution, I don't know how many of you know about it. I know very little about it, but it is something which leads to cancer. So arsenic in groundwater leads to cancer is the only thing I know. And there's a picture which I could put here. This is how it demonstrates. And it is now affecting 140 million people in 70 countries on all continents. And the world has already lost 70% of its natural wetlands. Ecosystems around the world are declining, and the loss in the ecosystems has been between 4.3 and 20.2 US trillion dollars per year between 1997 and 2011. And globally, the algal blooms, you can see this greenish thing in the lakes which happens because of pollution. And you can see this fish, which is this huge fish which is lying dead near a lake. It will this kind of algal pollution will increase by at least 20% by 2050. So these were some of the global stories. I just want to take you through the India story. So India holds about 4% of the global freshwater and 16% of its population. Does anyone know what is the global population presently? Any guesses? Any estimates?
Almost 9 billion.
Sorry, it's 7.7 billion currently, according to World Bank, and it is likely to touch 10 billion by 2050, and it is likely to cross 11 billion by the end of the century. Now, more population means more food, and more food means more water. So, this is the scene in India, that we have 16% of the world's population, but only 4% of the fresh water. And at the same time, between 2002 and 2016, the groundwater in India has depleted by 10 to 25 millimeters per year. Similarly, the rainfall has declined both in the summer, which is the Kharif crops, the summer crops, and the Rabi crops. The rainwater in both the crops have declined by significant amounts during the period 1970 to 2015. And dry days during monsoons, the days without rainfall, have increased by 40%, from 40% to 45% between the period of 1970 to 2015. And this is all from a report from Niti Aayog. The report is called Composite Water Management Index from Niti Aayog, which was the erstwhile Planning Commission. And in India, 70% of the water is contaminated. Our country ranks 120th of 122 countries on the Global Water Quality Index. Not something that we should be very proud of. And if mitigation measures are not implemented, India faces a risk of 6% loss in its GDP by 2050. This is as per the Niti Aayog report. And on this side, the table which you're seeing is actually, the state's estimation of their water management. And 14 out of these 14 states are actually ranking low. Can you see? It's very small. The font is very small. I'm sorry for that. But you can see that more than 50% of the states have ranked low and very few of them are medium or high. So this is the condition of water management in our country. So we are heading for a disaster. Again, some more facts on India. We have a population of 1.3 billion people. 88 million out of that lack access to safe water, and 26% people in our country practice open defecation still. 910 million people lack access to proper sanitation. 2 lakh people die every year due to inadequate access to safe water. 600 million Indians facing high to extreme water stress. And according to the same Niti Aayog report that I'm talking about, there are 21 major cities like Delhi, Bengaluru, Chennai, Hyderabad, and others who are racing to zero groundwater levels in the last year itself. Now, does anyone know what is zero groundwater levels? Anyone wants to try?
I guess the first aquifers, if they are depleted, they would constitute as a zero water level.
Yeah, so your groundwater levels are actually depleted. They've become so low that your taps completely run dry. And this happened in Chennai in the year 2019. There was a severe day zero, and now 21 major cities are hovering around the same state. And the same report also says that 40% of India's population will have no access to drinking water by 2030. 40% of India's population will have no access to drinking water by 2030 if we don't change our behavior. And we are already seeing that 54% of our country is highly water stressed. Another interesting data is that we store around just 6% of the rainfall. Rainfall harvesting is very poor in our country, whereas in other developed nation they do a lot of rainwater harvesting. More than 100% is done there. So this is again a very kindergarten type of a slide, but I again thought I will revisit it because we all still behave like this. And what we can do as individuals is something that I want to reiterate. So we can use water efficient flushes. Now they are available. We have seen in hotels there are dual mode flushes. Find and repair leaks. We always see, in fact, the day before yesterday I was screaming at my gardener because the tap was defective and he had left the tap on in the garden leaking. So we need to pay attention to these small details, and if you actually study the amount of water lost due to leakages, you will be shocked. Take shorter showers. If each person in the world reduces their shower time by just 1 minute, it is going to lead to a huge change in water scenario around the world. Uh, Please use energy efficient washing machines. We have rated appliances these days, so please choose, even if you have to pay more. Sometimes we compromise on the immediate price, but believe me, if you pay more for these efficient machines, you will be actually doing a favor to the future generations. Water saving faucets are available. You can talk to your plumber. Now there are fittings available which actually convert a free flowing water tap into a spray or a like a jet, so that you get the same amount of water, but it comes out with pressure under air, so it cleans your hands faster, and less water is used. Some of the hotels have already begun to use. Some places, most places now use sensors also. So the tap will open if it senses somebody's hand motion over there, and then it closes automatically after a certain amount of time. So you really can't waste any water. And when you water plants, do it during the coolest parts of the day, either in the evening or early in the morning, so that the soil is able to retain the water and you don't have to water it daily. Your driveways and sidewalks, I have seen, especially because in Jamshedpur we don't have water shortages, especially in the colonies which are maintained by the companies here. People actually waste water by washing their cars and their sidewalks and their garages. So just using a broom is good enough. You don't have to wash your house every day. So these are some messages. And basic turn off taps when not in use. So very childish messages sounds like that, but frankly speaking, these things have still not, gotten ingrained in our behavior. So with that, I will just introduce the theme of the World Water Day. So World Water Day is celebrated by the United Nations every year on the 22nd March. And the focus of this day is to raise the awareness of people on these very basic issues regarding water conservation and the global water crisis. And it is also to support the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goal, which is SDG number 6, which is fresh water and sanitation for all by 2030. So for all of you who don't know what are Sustainable Development Goals, we can organize another training session on that. So this year, 2021, the theme of the World Water Day is valuing water. And there are 5 aspects of water which the UN has communicated. So first one is valuing the water sources, which are natural water resources and ecosystems. We've talked about the water cycle. So the only source of fresh water that we have is the rainfall. So we need to respect the water cycle, and we need to discharge good quality water back into the nature and not polluted water, because that is what we are going to get back in the form of rainfall. Water infrastructure in terms of storage, treatment, and supply, because if we don't have good water infrastructure, then the socio-economic development of those regions is compromised, and the ecosystems again get endangered. Then valuing water services, like drinking water, sanitation, and health services, we need to value those. Valuing water as an input to production and socio-economic activities like food and agriculture, energy and industry, business and employment. And valuing socio-cultural aspects of water. Water also has values of recreation. We go for holidays near at a beach, or we do water sports. Water also gives us peace. Sometimes we just swim in a river or a swimming pool and we feel very good. It has cultural aspects. Most religions, perform some rites near a river bank, and some of the rivers we treat as mothers. We in India we say Ganga Ma and things like that. So it has a lot of cultural and spiritual attributes as well. So water means to every individual or to a community could be largely different, but by and large these are the ways water relates to our life. And this is the theme of this year. Now, I want to show you a very small video, which is a presentation made by our ex-president, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. It is a 4-minute video. You must watch it. He is writing a letter from the year 2070 about water, and you must watch it, and you will, see how if we don't change our behavior, what will our be facing in the year 2070. So bear with me. This is my last slide. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
But the video is not playing, ma'am.
It's not playing. It's playing on my screen. Let me start again. Are you able to see the video on the screen?
No.
Uh,
One second. Okay, I'll just share it directly from YouTube. Are you able to see my YouTube now?
Yes, we can
yes,
see
ma'am.
it
This we
now.
can see.
Thank you.
Okay, good. So I'm just going to play this. It is self-explanatory. You can just watch it.
Ma'am, the audio is off in the video.
But there's no audio in this. It's just a music. I've shut it off. Just read the text. So that is the end of my presentation, a very jarring presentation. This could be our children in 2070 if we don't change our behavior. So with that, I would hand over to Abhilash now for his, because I have talked about the problems, he will talk about the solutions. So there is still hope. Don't worry. Yeah, so Abhilash, over to you, and we'll take the question answers together for both the speakers towards the end of the thing. Yeah, Abhilash, all yours.
Thanks, Priya. So hi everyone. Pleasure to be here and talk about the small part that we play in helping people save water. Now, the earlier presentation indicated that this is a very scarce resource and we need to do something about it. Right? Everybody knows this. This is not new information that we have. Save Water is probably the single longest and single largest campaign that we have seen on the planet, right? But we are still fairly casual about it because it's not our problem today, or it hasn't personally affected us. But these numbers are not made up numbers. The UN does not make up numbers. If almost a billion people are not having access to water, it's a matter of time before 1 billion becomes 1.5 billion, becomes 2 billion, becomes 3 billion, right? And there are a lot of things that we can do to start making a difference. And I don't want to go about blaming people saying, hey, they didn't do this, this industry could have done better. That is not the point of this conversation. The point is, what can I do better, right? That is how we started out this company as well. And for me to answer that question, I had no starting point, right? I'll put this in perspective. I'll give you two examples that we see on an everyday basis. All of us want to save money, right? But imagine you have no idea how much is coming into your bank account or how much is going out of your bank account. In that case, it is realistically not possible to save money because you do not have that data, right? The second thing, and which is the theme of today's conversation, is valuing water, right? Now, what is the value of water? Today, we perceive it to be a free commodity. We're talking about future problems that will have. But today, why we are not so careful is because it is perceived as a free commodity. But it really is not, right? We have another resource, electricity, which is also a scarce resource, but you have options to recreate that. I mean, there are multiple ways to generate electricity, but that has been given so much importance and a price has been attached to it that we do everything in our power to save electricity. Nobody leaves their AC on all day, just leave it and walk out, because they know no matter what happens, a bill will come and then at the end of the month, you have to pay for it. But with water, I am almost 100% certain that if I go around this room asking how many liters are you consuming, how many liters is your shower consuming, how many liters are you using on a Monday, on a weekend, on a weekday, is a maid using, how much are you using for cooking, right? Are there leakages? How efficiently is the flush? This is not information that we have, right? So it is not enough to just tell people save water. And if we want to take action, we need to first start by getting this data, right? And that is exactly what we do. And we started doing this because water meters have been around. I mean, we had nothing to do with it. It is much older than I am. It's been around for 50 years at least. But there are some fundamentally basic challenges with the traditional water meter. And this has been globally acknowledged by governments, by utility companies, saying the data that comes out of the traditional water meter is not accurate. There is a 25 to 30% variance, which means whatever, when you do analytics on bad data, you're not going to get good data, finally, good insights after that. If your data is bad, let me go back to the earlier example of money again, right? If you are getting 100 rupees and you want to save 20 rupees, then you will make a plan, right? But if the data is saying you are only getting 60 rupees, You can't save that 20 rupees because you're already down 20 over here, right? So similarly with water, if the data is not accurate, you are not going to be able to make intelligent decisions. So we found out there are challenges with the traditional water meter, and we built our own device. I mean, actually, truth be told, we didn't start off wanting to build it, right? I took the lazy way out. I said, okay, let me go buy a water meter. I installed it. And I'll tell you why I actually started doing this also. I was working at my parents' business, and suddenly people started leaving the office because there was no water in the office, and they had to use the KFC down the road to use the bathroom. For a business, this is not good because you will not retain any talent if this is what you have to do to use a basic resource like water. And then I had zero idea about why this happened. Did the tanker person not come? Was there a leakage? Was some tap left open? We had no idea why this happened also. So we got this device, and like I said, there were lots of challenges with that. So the data was not accurate. And in spite of buying that water meter, then this problem still persisted. It reduced it to an extent, but it still persisted. So then that is when me and my co-founders got together and we said, hey, let's figure out something about how we can make sure that this device gives us accurate data. The fundamental challenge is that the principle of how a water meter works is water will pass through. You have a turbine that rotates and you have a counter on top that tells you how much water has passed through. But what it doesn't account for is that in your plumbing lines, you have both water and you have air as well. And that turbine will rotate irrespective of water or air. And therefore, your data is not accurate. The second thing that causes data inaccuracy is that your water also flows backwards. Let's say you close a tap, pressure is formed, water goes backwards. But your counter on that goes only forward, like your odometer in your car. So when it goes behind the meter and then goes back, you're getting counted for the same water multiple times. So again, your data is not accurate. And when you have very low flow, that is not enough velocity to turn this turbine. And again, your data is not accurate. So we identified that as the central problem for data inaccuracy. There are also other issues. So with a traditional water meter, these meters are installed in the plumbing shaft, which nobody knows where it is. I mean, in our houses, we don't even know where these pipelines are. We just know water comes out of the tap, but they're really not accessible. So somebody has to go to that device, then subtract, get the data. It's a running number, right? Today you're at 5,000 liters, tomorrow you're at 5,500 liters, then 6,000 liters, whatever. So it's a running number. You'll have to go manually sit and subtract each day or each hour or whatever uh, metric you're looking for. So that also was a reason why people weren't using this data. So we said, okay, fine, we are able to collect this data remotely and make all these breakups. We are able to slice and dice it any which way that we wanted first and now our clients want. So we said, okay, that we can do. Then finally, when we started saying, okay, see, at the end of everything, if sustainability is not driven by commercialization, then there'll be no innovation at all. People build apps for Ola, for Swiggy, for everything because it is driven by profit. Right? There's so much innovation. Nobody would have thought of doing that earlier, but there was an opportunity. There is a similar opportunity in sustainability also, right? And it has to be driven by profit. Otherwise, there will be no innovation. Right? So we said, okay, we have to figure it out in a way where it has to be viable for the client and for us to run this business so that we will keep doing R&D on this to help people and businesses and industries save more water. So we went about getting this R&D going, and then we also had to start researching the market. I mean, before you go into this, you'll have to figure out, I have this idea, but will the market accept this? So we walked into maybe about 50 to 60 odd different properties and asked them, forget a new device like us. Water meters are there. Why aren't you using it? It is not rocket science, right? There is no house you can think of without an electricity meter. The government does not even allow that. But why for water? So we understood their challenge. They said, no, you put something in the path of water, it reduces the pressure, then people are not using it, they disconnect it and keep it. So this is government officials telling us this. Even now, in all the large cities, there's something called spot billing because they disconnect that device. They will do an arbitrary average and give you a thing called spot billing. So that's because there is pressure loss and it causes inconvenience. So we said, okay, fine, that is a big problem. If we don't solve for that, whatever we build, people are not going to use. So that's the second thing that we saw. The third thing is you're also able to tamper with it because you're able to take a magnet and go start tampering with the data. You can make the reading fluctuate. So again, the data was inaccurate. We wanted to solve for that as well. So now, armed with all this information, I mean, and also I'll tell you, so the first year and a half, we did almost no business. We said we have to get the solution right. It's not like we have multiple chances with this. Already with sustainability, people don't approve or say, everybody will say a great solution. But when you have to pay for it, it is not easy to get people to pay for it. So what we said was we have to make sure we get it right, only then go out to market. So we spent a year and a half, invested our own money, invested our own time without doing any other business to build the solution, and then we started taking it out. Initially, our initial client is still our client. I mean, that's the effort that we took, right? They are ambassadors. They always recommend us to more people. So what we did was we built a device. I'll talk you through the design process also, right? We realized that moving turbine that is there is central to all the problems. If you remove that, you're able to eliminate all this airflow, the reverse flow, all of this. So we built a device using a principle called ultrasonic. Ultrasonic, like the name implies, means using sound waves. So what we do is we measure the speed of water and how long it takes for sound wave to travel. We have two signal transmitting elements. We know the diameter of the pipe, we know the distance. We calculate the time difference in nanoseconds that it takes for water to go from point A to point B. And this will give you the exact volume of water going out. We've also got it certified by a government body, FCRI, which is Fluid Control Research Institute of India, where we will give you over 98% accuracy at a 1 drop level. So with this, we have also been able to eliminate all the other challenges like air passing through. There is no turbine, so air passes unnoticed. Water going backwards. When I go from the forward direction from point A to point B, the time difference is positive. When water goes backwards from point B to point A, the time difference is negative. And we will automatically subtract that out and give you true flow. Like very low flow is not an issue because I told you we got it certified at 98% accuracy at a 1 drop level. So with this, this is the cleanest possible data you will get. For the last thing, I'm also talking about pressure, right? With pressure, to get the certification, you need to be at 63 kilopascal or less. We are at 6 kilopascal, literally 1/10 of what is acceptable, simply because we've eliminated that moving component. So this is the cleanest possible data you will get. And then with this data, we engage with different stakeholders. Each stakeholder has a different purpose and all of them are important. I mean, to start a movement, one person is not enough, right? You need momentum and you need more people to join the movement to reach more people. So we decided, we very quickly understood that there are two types. One is a person who manages the facility. One is a person who actually consumes water. And we understood what all of their use cases are. And we've built this application around both of the use cases. So I'll just very quickly talk about what the application is. For a person managing the facility, he has to make sure that he provides water on demand, good quality water to the community. Right? It could be industry, it could be hotel, it could be residential, it could be campuses, hostels, anything. Right? It's the same principle. We collect this data. We help him track all of this, given this information real time. And anytime there is an exception, this comes to you in real time as a notification. You have the ability to take action, including shutting it off from your mobile phone itself or the web application. If you have multiple tenants, a bill is generated for each tenant and they will be able to make payments also. We will tell you how efficiently each equipment is working, your sewage treatment plant, your water treatment plant, how much water you have in your campus. So you're able to audit the building in real time. So this is what you do with the dashboard. With the application, with the mobile application is for the final end consumer. So now I had earlier asked you how many liters is your shower, how many liters is the maid using, how many liters are you using on a Tuesday evening, all Tuesday evening. So all this information is made readily available and you will be able to take real-time action. And at the end of the month, you get a bill and you will make payments for your consumption, like how you do electricity, also through the mobile phone. So now you are automatically more empowered, you are more conscious. Whatever the reason is, I mean, some people say, no, once you put payment, they will do it. Sure, maybe it is that. Maybe you have a green thumb and you think, no, I want to do good for the environment. But whatever the reason is, we've seen that there is a dramatic reduction in consumption. And when I say dramatic, I'm not talking about a few thousand liters. We've saved over 3 billion liters. We're already deployed in more than 30,000 apartments. We manage about 40 million square feet of commercial real estate. So this is a solution. Then we said, okay, hey, you know what? Everybody says, okay, all this is good, but okay, how much does this cost me? I mean, that is the most Indian question you will get. Okay, how much does this cost me? Right. So we also innovated on the business model. We said that we want to give the product away for free. We want more people to use this. So we give it away for free. The client will just pay for setup, like the cable, the conduit. Think of it very similar to how your Tata Sky works, right? You want the box, they give you the box for free, but there is somebody who will come there, he'll do this cabling and plugging it in and testing and all of that. Very similarly, we do this also, just pay for that labor, and there's a monthly subscription. It depends on what your use case is. If you are an apartment, you will pay, depending on the plan you choose, anywhere between 150 rupees and 400 rupees per month. Commercial buildings and will be about 20 paise per square feet, which is all very negligible. And in your overall scheme of things, it's fairly negligible. And this will include complete maintenance, part replacement, upgrades, insight. We run sustainability programs where we'll help you reach your goal. So this is the solution that we've built, and every opportunity that I get to talk to people, I'm always out there telling people, you know what, we're looking for more people to join this revolution. So this is what we've done. And we're going to build on this. Once we've built this much data, we now know how buildings should be designed. Right? We've seen that buildings are designed, in some cases, over-engineered. You automatically design buildings for 135 liters, and we have with data that we can show you that you don't need to design for so much. And this will help save all kinds. There's a domino effect, right? You will reduce the pipe size, the pump capacity, the storage, the civil, the cement, the plastic, everything that's associated with all of this. So there's a cost benefit also, and there's also an environmental benefit that happens with this. So and we make this data publicly available. We started this with the intent of saving water and giving people the power to save water, and businesses and industries. So that is what our intent is, and we hope to save over 10 billion liters this year. So this is our solution, and I'd be happy to connect with anybody who has any questions. Are there any questions, or?
Looks like there are no questions. Any questions from anyone?
Hi, Abilash. I'm Rahul. So
Hi,
I
Rahul.
just wanted to know, like the entire concept of what you've explained about how your smart meter works and what sort of technology have you put into this smart meter is very clear. I just wanted to know where is your, which are the cities where you are in fact prominently working in at the moment?
So primarily Madras, Bangalore, and Hyderabad, but we also have deployments in Bombay, in NCR, in Kolkata, and now as we are scaling up, we're also engaging with partners. We have partners in different cities as well, in Punjab, in Haryana, in Madhya Pradesh. So we're slowly adding partners. There's a lot of people who align with the cost, right? First is, it's not just money. Money is important, but you have to be aligned with the cost that, hey, you know what, I want to do something that contributes and also make money at the same time. So slowly we have a lot of interest in people partnering with us, people in that local region where they're able to influence people, developers, industries. They sign up and they take it out to the market.
Thanks,
Where are you
Abilash.
located at, Rahul?
Abilash, right now I'm in Delhi.
Okay. If you are interested, I would be able to connect you to a partner in Delhi as well.
Fine. I'll definitely get in touch with you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
Abilash.
Okay, I think that.
Yeah, I think there are no more questions, but anyone who wants to ask any questions or get connected to Abhilash at a later stage, they can get in touch with Porat, and we'll do the needful. And with that, I would, like to thank Abhilash, first of all, because he's spared his precious time to be with us on this day. And I know because our team was trying to get in touch with him to do some mock webinar, mock testing of the technology, but he was still in a flight, and he's just flown down from somewhere and come straight to this talk. So it's very creditable, Abhilash, and we are grateful to you on behalf of Porat and on behalf of everyone who's listened to you. We really thank you for your progressive thoughts. This is something that the present and the future both need. Water metering and putting a price to this very, very valuable resource. And we are grateful that you've set the ball rolling. And I hope you grow and we keep in touch, and we do good business together. I also want to thank all the speakers over here, everyone in the audience over here who've had the patience to listen to whatever we had to speak. Some of it was very jarring, but nevertheless, it is very, very essential. So very grateful to all of you for participating in this webinar and making it a success. Again, thank you to Shivangi and her team for all the technological arrangements and things like that, which I'm a pretty nerd at. So I think they've done a wonderful job. There was no disruption of any kind. We could play everything that we wanted. So with that, thank you to everyone, and we'll keep in touch. Abhilash, thank you. Have a great
Hello.
day ahead.
Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
Hello, ma'am. I
Yeah.
just have one thing. Abilash, is it possible for you to share your mail ID or something where we can get in touch with you?
Yeah, I'm messaging it to you on the. I've shared it.
All right. Thanks, Abilash.
No problem. I mean, I have no. I love being here. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Like I said, I'm always happy to get the word out. I mean, that is my primary this thing, to get more people aware. And I think once people find out such a thing exists and at such a low cost, a lot of people generally want to be associated, because everybody understands that we are heading towards a point where there could be no return right now. So I am glad to be given this opportunity, and I'd hope to be in touch with everybody.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you
Thank you.
everyone for being such a wonderful audience and such a patient listener. And we at Porath would, like to tell you all that we also are very good at all the projects that there might be, like water footprinting, carbon footprinting, or anything else. So for any queries or any details that you would need for that, please fill out the form that we've given in the chat box, or you can even reach out to me at the number given.
Yeah. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Shivangi.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Priya ma'am.
Thank
Thank you, Prasad.
Thank you. Thank you.
thank you,
Thank you.
Abhilash, once again.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Abilash and Priya, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.